My name is Nicholle Jaramillo, and I am the Event and Sponsorship Coordinator at Capital Factory, and I am a WOW woman. I grew up in Orange County, California. I moved a little bit back and forth prior to getting there, but we kind of established our roots when I was about in kindergarten. My mother raised me as a single parent until I was about in 7th grade, and she's definitely, without a doubt, the hardest working woman that I know. She's really taught me the true value of patience is a virtue, and good things come to those who wait and really work hard. So my dad was pretty much in and out of the picture my whole life. I never really had a consistent relationship with him, and I was really lucky to have a mom who kind of played both the part of the mom and the dad, which I think is unusual sometimes. And obviously with a single parent, you establish a different bond and relationship than most people will, but I think that with that, I've really learned and grown as a woman. I was really lucky that even though I didn't have my dad in my life, that my stepdad really, stepped up to the plate when I was about in 7th grade. And that's a pretty big deal for a single man to marry a woman with a kid who, it's not like I was 4 years old and he was really molding me from kind of start to finish. He really came in the middle of the game, which I think was an interesting role for him to play, but I think he did a fabulous job. I think it's been super interesting to see how our relationship has really grown over the years. You really learn as an adult that it's not you. You know what I mean? You don't do anything wrong as a kid for your dad not to show up. That's on him as an adult and what he's going through in his own life. But I think that that's tough to grapple with for a lot of people because they blame themselves. I don't blame myself. I just don't. Living with Crohn's disease has completely altered the way that I live. So really for the last 7 years, to be completely honest, I've lived with this feeling of there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no solution to this. I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life and I'm gonna suffer because of it, which I think is unfortunately a really poor attitude to have. And it's a poor attitude that I've had for a really long time. I definitely did not understand the value of networking prior to moving to Austin and working at Capital Factory. In college, they taught us a lot of really great skills about getting a job, making sure your portfolio looks great, all of that. But I didn't really feel like the networking aspect was ever introduced to me. So when I came to Austin, it was a little bit of a culture shock. Obviously, Austin is a huge networking town. Everyone's always connecting. There's happy hours, there's mixers, there's panels, there's reception, there's it all. And you really obviously have to find a way to navigate kind of the noise. I was really lucky early on to just be introduced to one of my mentors, who's actually Ruben Cantu of Core Media Enterprises. And I can definitely attribute a ton of the skills that I've learned when it comes to networking thanks to him. In moving to Austin, I knew no one. And that's something that I've really learned in my job at Capital Factory. You're constantly interacting with a lot of higher level people, whether they're a venture capitalist, a CEO of a company, someone in government. You never know who's walking around the offices, so you always have to be on point. So those days where I don't exactly feel like that, I get that little bit of fear, like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I still being successful? And you are. I think it's just a natural fear that everyone else gets as well. I always want to make sure that I'm being the best version of myself. I always really want to have a great job, you know what I mean? And I always want to be the best professional that I can be, the best friend that I can be, and really the best person I can be. And I think that goes beyond just the standard of, oh, I have friends, or I have a job I sort of like, and I'm in a good relationship. I've always wanted more. Okay, I excelled at this, or I'm doing good at this, like what's the next step to becoming bigger and better, sort of thing. I'm a huge movie buff, so I love going to the Alamo Drafthouse. I think that was one of the coolest discoveries in coming to Austin. What? I can eat a meal at the theater? I think the most fun thing that I've got to do since coming to Austin is I really love music and going to concerts. Getting to experience all different kinds of music has been such an amazing opportunity. I mean, we're in the live music capital of the world, and I think that that's been a really great opportunity for me to see all different kinds of genres and bands and musicians, and getting to go to ACL, all that kind of stuff.